I was wrestling back and forth with the idea of whether or not I was going to do this video in the form of a live stream or not. And I don't know, I might still do it as in the form of a live stream. I'm not entirely sure. It's just the fact that I don't like to want to waste too much energy on these two, and I know doing a live stream I would waste more time and more energy doing that opposed to doing it in a pre-recorded video style like I'm doing right now. Now, you already know who that is on the left. That is none other than Candace the Coonstress Owens. And I have talked about her many times on my channel. Even cued the violins on her a couple times. I should have did it another time when she got dropped from Turning Point USA, but I didn't even bother. But the one that's next to her, y'all have heard me mention his name on my channel before, but I've never actually made him a topic of discussion until now. And that is none other than Brandon Tatum. I remember when I first discovered Brandon Tatum about 2 years ago, and I happened to click on one of his videos. I didn't even last 10 seconds before I clicked off of it. That's how much I was turned off by his tone and his rhetoric. Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum are the coons of tomorrow that are here today. Now, if y'all don't know, Brandon Tatum used to be a police officer. He used to be in law enforcement. And then he ended up getting, and I think he used to be in the military as well, because I saw a picture of him and he had army fatigues on. So I'm not sure what branch he was in. I'm only assuming that he was in the army. So he used to be in the military as well. So he has a military and a police background. And if you hear his rhetoric, you would swear that he is one of these palm-colored fake patriots. The one that claims to be so patriotic, but literally speaks against their own people. And I know what kind of rhetoric Candace and Brandon do. They're literally night and day. They're like, they are like, not so much night and day. They're both night and they're both day at the same time. And it's almost like if one talks and the other one isn't, and then the next one talks and the other one isn't, but it's basically they're saying the same thing. What Candace and Brandon like to do is they like to get online on their social media accounts and say that they're doing this, that, and the third for black people, while sounding more and more like those conservative people that hate the hell out of black people. Those of you who have seen what they've said online know exactly what I'm talking about. Their rhetoric and their tone, like it's almost like they are competing over that last butter biscuit, and they don't really care which one gets it. Now, they both used to be part of Turning Point USA. He too got dropped from it as well. Now that was back, I think, last month. I should have cued the violins on him then, but I said, why bother? But the main reason I'm talking about them today in this video is because of the When They See Us documentary, well, miniseries, not documentary, in the Central Park 5. A few days ago, as a matter of fact, it was last week, Brandon Tatum had posted up a video that was like a little small clip, I guess you can say a teaser, to a video that he did as a full-blown commentary on his YouTube channel, talking about how that they were really guilty, that they weren't innocent and everything like that. But he somehow managed to plug in his merch at the end of the video. So we know he's doing this for money, because Candace and Brandon, as far as I know, are currently unemployed, much like that Paris Denard, who I just recently talked about a month ago, and how he's coming out and he's defending Trump and basically trying to compete for a job, because they know they can't run back to us. We have nothing for them, and they know that. But they'll try to throw our name in there to try to make it seem like these good old white folks are doing something good for us. Because, you know, Candace, she's on that whole Blexit campaign trying to get people from being Democrats to being Republicans. Look, neither one of them is good for us, but they don't see that. They will, but they don't see it now. And also, too, both Candace and Brandon are involved with white people. And I've seen a picture of Brandon's girlfriend, if that's his girlfriend. That woman looks like a manlier version of Morticia Adams from the Addams Family. Just picture that for a second there. Like, her face structure is stronger than mine. Like, she has a jawline. You know, let me just stop. Y'all get the picture. But they both went out there and did, like, she said something on her social media, because I don't think she has a YouTube channel. He does. He made a video. I had reposted the clip onto my page, and it got a lot of feedback. Like, people was looking like, what is this nigga talking about? I said, y'all must not know Brandon Tatum. Just go over to his channel. All you got to do is look at the titles of his videos, and you already know it's some rhetoric that's going to spew, because we know who he's talking to. He's talking about us a lot of times, but he's telling it to a white audience. You don't even have to watch the video. Just scroll through the comments and you'll see it. If he's not, the only white person he really ever talks about in his videos is Trump. And it's usually to blast us and tell us how good Trump is for us. And that's the only reason why he made a commentary about the Central Park 5 thing, is because Trump was involved. If Trump had nothing to do with this, more than likely he would not have said anything. Same thing with Candace. If Trump wasn't involved, she would not have said anything. But then again, because they love white folks so much, they still would have said something. But he made this whole commentary that made no lick of sense, talking about how the police did their job and everything like that. Now, mind you, this is a guy who used to be a cop. So it makes you wonder, what kind of dirty, underhanded things did he do to black people, especially black boys or black men in particular, did he do while he was in law enforcement? And also, why did he leave law enforcement? Because Brandon Tatum is young. He's not even at retirement age, nowhere near it. So it makes you wonder, how in the world did he get did he get fired? Did he get removed for doing unorthodox things? Like, what is it? Like, how in the world did he get out of being a cop? And he still talks from a standpoint as if he is still a cop, because he has this, it's almost like with David Clark. He's no longer the sheriff of Milwaukee, but he still goes around on his social media as Sheriff David Clark. Brandon Tatum still has the words officer in his name on Twitter, but he's no longer a cop. It should just say Brandon Tatum. Or for David Clark, just David Clark. It's not like we don't know who the hell y'all are. So it's like they're still living in this dream world, that they're still in the positions that they're no longer in. But he went on this whole little tirade, and then he ended up deleting the video. I don't know if it's because he didn't get the feedback he wanted or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's gone. But then one of my followers on Twitter informed me that he put up another one. Then he went on a whole nother little tirade. I don't know if it's still there or not. I really don't care, because it's a bunch of BS. And then I found this article with Candace Owens, and she basically piggybacked off of what Brandon was saying, basically saying the same thing, but in word format. And then I posted it up on my Twitter account. It got a lot of feedback. And the interesting thing about it is it got good feedback from not only black people, but white people as well. Because even white people can't deny that that case was messed up. It was botched. And that people like Linda Fairstein completely screwed this whole thing up. And then Donald Trump had to insert what he did. And by him doing that's the thing that influenced the whole court of public opinion thing, to make it seem like these boys actually did the crime that they were accused of, which we, of course, know that they were not guilty of. DNA exonerated them. And it's like they completely omit all of that, but still hang on to these boys were guilty. And when I'm talking about I'm talking about the two people you see in this image right here. These are two, and I hate to even call them black, because they are black, but all skin folk ain't kin folk, and they definitely ain't no kin to us. Not to me or to you. And they want no parts of us. Brandon Tatum lives in some middle of nowhere place out in Arizona, and as far as Candace Owens, she probably doesn't live near anywhere near a black person within a few mile radius. Because I don't even think Brandon Tatum is from Arizona. I think he's from the East Coast, so that means that, and he really ran away from his blackness, because he had to go to another part of the establishment to get as far away from black people as possible. And then that's exactly what he did. But he wants to sit up there and talk about what's good for us. No, Brandon, you and Candace are not good for us at all. And if we had a code of conduct, you two would have been dealt with before we even knew who the hell you were. To this point. They got dropped by Turning Point USA, which by my recollection is ran by white people, but they still have a disdain for us. That's how I don't understand how people can coon like that. Like, the people that you cooned out for are the same ones that threw you out on your ass, and you still hate us as if we did something wrong. And one of the major reasons why they got rid of Candace is because she didn't fulfill her mission, which was to sway as many black people as possible. I'm sorry, Candace, but not all of us are brain dead like you are. Or Brandon Tatum, another brain dead, flightless individual. Yes, flightless can be a man too, and Brandon is as flightless as they come. But what I want to happen is if the Century Park Five, the five guys, knew of what Brandon and Candace were doing, that they would open up a case and sue them for slander, defamation of character, because that's exactly what they're doing. These guys have been exonerated. All charges against them have been dropped and have been since 2002. They are not guilty of the crime they were accused of, and you used to have two people like them barking that they're guilty. Listen, just because your precious 45 is holding on to that does not mean that you can as well. We already know what tip he's on. The only reason that they can't get to him is because of his position. But these two lowlives, they are ripe for the picking. I wish they could open up a case against them and sue them for defamation of character and slander, because that's exactly what they're doing. And they would have a solid case too, because Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum have influence. Not as much as 45, but they have an online presence, so they have a following. And shoot, like I said, you can tell people are tired of them, because if you just go to their Facebook, not their Facebook page, but their, Facebook for Candace, because remember, the last time I cued the violins on her, it was because Facebook suspended her for like a week. They're even tired of her. If you go to their social media pages, like Twitter especially, you can look at one tweet and look at the responses under the post that they made about these guys and see the amount of people that are going in on them because they know that they are wrong for that. They are doing this for attention. That's probably why I don't do many videos talking about them, because I don't want to give them any type of exposure. But I said I had to make this video right here because y'all need to know who we are dealing with. Thankfully, we have the internet. People can do their research about who and what happened with these guys, and they can draw their own conclusions. A lot of the times you don't even have to go based off the movie. I already knew what this case was about before this miniseries even came out. It's just that now I have an even more deeper understanding to see who else was involved with the wrongdoing to these boys. But see, people like Candace and Brandon, they just assumed that this was nothing more than propaganda, even though it was based on a true story. It is a true story, and there's plenty of evidence out there. And Candace Owens, I just found out yesterday that she was born 10 days after this event happened. She was born April 29th, 1989. Which is a few days before my birthday, which is May 4th, 1989. I hate the fact that not only is she a Taurus, but she's born literally in close proximity to me. That don't mean she has no attachment to me whatsoever. I'm just saying. And how is it that I have more common sense about this case and use logic and she doesn't, and she was born days before me? As for Brandon Tatum, I don't know when he was born and I don't care, but I know that he had to have known about this case as well. But they're doing this because they're catering to a certain group of people. But the thing is, I don't think that they're even catering back to them. As a matter of fact, I know they're not. Like I said, there's white people out here who know what happened to these boys and they feel it's an injustice. But you have these two, and like I said, the main reason they're doing this is because of how Trump feels about it. They literally only move whenever Trump tells them to do. Like these are your field Negroes right here. And they are proud to hold that title. They are a disgrace and a disdain, and not only a waste of sperm, but a waste of melanin, and a waste of time. I cannot stand either one of these two. My goodness. I have never seen two people within the same age range act as they have, or act as they do. I mean, if you want to throw Diamond and Silk in there too, I don't know what they've said. And to be honest, I don't want to hear those two parrots and what they have to say, because I know they probably have something to say too, because they hang off of Trump's nutsack as well. But these two right here are some of the worst, mainly because they are close in age range with myself. But I'm glad that many people are seeing what they're dishing out, and how a lot of people are not biting back to whatever it is that they're casting out there. They are poison, they are toxic, and a whole lot of other things that I can't think of at the moment in time right here. But I'm just going to leave it off with that. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.